Imagine this. You're sitting across from her. She says nothing, no shouting, no arguing, just silence. And that silence, it cuts deeper than any words ever could. You think she's just upset. You think it's some kind of game, that she's waiting for you to speak first. But that's not it. Her silence is a language you were never taught to understand. Most people believe a dangerous myth that communication is just about words, that if someone is silent, they are saying nothing. This is completely false. Silence isn't the absence of communication. It is its highest, most potent form. When a woman goes silent, she doesn't stop speaking. She just changes the channel. And this new channel bypasses logic and hits emotion directly. Let me break down what's actually happening. First, her silence is a value frame. When she stops explaining, arguing, justifying, or reminding, she stops investing her energy in you. And when that investment ends, the power in the relationship shifts. Her silence says, I will no longer fight for your attention. I will no longer audition for your love. This isn't weakness. This is strategy. Think about it. For months, maybe even years, she spoke. She asked. She explained her feelings. She reminded you of what she needed, and nothing changed. Then one day, she just stops. No more reminders about taking out the trash. No more complaints about feeling unheard. No more emotional chasing. And suddenly, you feel the absence. You feel the void. Because her silence creates a vacuum where her energy used to be. Psychology has a name for this. The principle of scarcity. When something disappears, its perceived value skyrockets. Her silence makes her presence, her attention, her emotional investment rare. And rarity creates a powerful gravity. She is no longer trying to convince you of her worth. She is letting the deafening silence of her absence speak for her. And that is where true power lies. So, when she's silent, it's not a tactic, it's a conclusion. She has reached a point where words have failed, where her energy is too precious to waste on conversations that go nowhere. Her silence is the final act of self-preservation. It's the moment she reclaims her value by refusing to devalue herself further. She's not trying to get you to listen anymore. She's observing whether you can finally hear the silence. This isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about emotional economics. She's withdrawing her assets from a failing market. Her silence is her resignation letter from the job of fixing things. It's the ultimate statement of self-worth. She's not giving you the silent treatment. She's giving herself the gift of peace. And in that peace, she finds her strength again. The shift is profound. Before, her words were a plea for connection. Now, her silence is a boundary of respect. It's a quiet declaration that says, my peace is more important than this conflict. She's not waiting for an apology. She's waiting to see if you even notice she's gone. Her silence isn't empty. It's full of everything she's tired of saying. This is a critical lesson to understand. The loudest message is often delivered in complete and utter silence. It forces you to confront the space she used to fill. It's a mirror held up not to her, but to you, reflecting what was lost. Her silence is not a pause. It is the end of a chapter. And for her, it's the beginning of a new one, written in the language of quiet strength and reclaimed value. If you found this perspective valuable, consider subscribing for more insights. Thanks for watching. Have you ever been on the receiving end of silence? That quiet that feels heavier than any argument. It's confusing, it's frustrating, and it can make you feel completely lost. You keep asking what's wrong and get nothing back. Today, we're going to decode that silence, not as a weapon, but as a message. A message many of us have been misinterpreting for far too long. Stick around, because what you're about to learn might just change how you see your relationships forever. Let's get into the second reason for her silence. It's a boundary. Think of every word she speaks as opening a door to her inner world. Every time she explains herself, shares a feeling, or tells you what she needs, she's inviting you in. She's saying, "Here, this is me. Come on in, let's connect." But what happens when that door is constantly slammed in her face? When her vulnerability is met with dismissal, that's when the door closes. That's when silence begins. This isn't about punishment. It's about protection. The human brain is a masterpiece of efficiency. It's wired to conserve energy. If a certain action, like communicating her needs, is repeatedly ignored or invalidated, her brain eventually sends a clear signal. Stop. This is a waste of precious energy. It's not working. The silence that follows isn't coldness. It's a survival mechanism. It's her system shutting down a process that is causing more harm than good. It's a biological and emotional necessity. Think back to a recent argument or disagreement. Maybe you said something that, to you, was a small comment, a joke, but it landed differently for her. It hurt. She tried to tell you. She tried to explain the why behind her feelings. And what was the response? Maybe it was, "Relax, you're overreacting," or "It's not that serious. Can't you take a joke?" Or perhaps the classic, "You're being too sensitive." You essentially put up a wall. So she tried again, maybe from a different angle, hoping this time it would get through. But she hit the same wall, the same dismissal, and then silence. That wasn't the moment she gave up on you. It was the moment she had to stop for herself, continuing to try. To knock on a door that wouldn't open wasn't just tiring, it was self-destructive. It felt like she was chipping away at her own worth, begging to be seen, to be heard. The silence is the fence she puts up around her inner world, around the last reserves of her emotional energy. It's a sign that the space has become unsafe for her vulnerability. Bye. And if you can't respect that fence, if you keep trying to push past it instead of understanding why it's there, you'll find yourself on the outside, wondering why you lost the connection. The boundary isn't meant to keep you out forever, but to signal that the terms of entry need to change. It's a call for respect, not a declaration of war. Now, let's explore the third, and perhaps the most confronting reason for her silence. It is a mirror. This is where things can get really uncomfortable, because it forces the focus away from her and squarely onto you. When she stops talking, when the noise of the argument or the discussion suddenly ceases, you are left completely alone. Alone with what? With your own thoughts. And in that void, your mind desperately tries to fill the gap. What rushes in? It's usually not calm, rational thought. It's a tidal wave of your deepest insecurities. Your brain starts screaming things like, "She doesn't love me anymore. I've messed up so badly this time. It's over. She's found someone else who actually listens. I've ruined everything." All of your worst fears about the relationship and about yourself come bubbling to the surface. Her silence becomes a blank screen, and you, without even realizing it, become the director, projecting your own personal horror movie onto it. In psychology, there's a term for this: anxiety projection. Our brains are hardwired to despise uncertainty. In fact, studies show that the human brain often prefers a known negative outcome over an unknown one. We'd rather know for sure that something bad is happening than be left in the suspense of not knowing. So, when the information from her words, her reassurance, her side of the story is missing, your brain doesn't just wait patiently. It assumes the absolute worst-case scenario. It constructs a narrative based on fear, not facts. And here's the crucial truth you need to grasp. She is not creating this drama. Your own mind is. Her silence is simply the trigger that forces you to confront what's already inside of you. It makes you face your own ego, your own patterns of neglect, your own emotional absence in the relationship. She doesn't have to list all the ways you've hurt or ignored her. She doesn't have to accuse you of anything. The silence creates a space where your own conscience starts doing that work for her. It's a powerful and often painful moment of self-reflection. The discomfort you feel isn't caused by her quiet. It's caused by the reflection of yourself you see in it. So, the next time you're met with silence, I want you to try something different. Before you rush to fill the void with accusations or demands, just pause, take a breath, look in the mirror she's holding up. What is it really showing you? Is it about her? Or is it about your fears, your actions, and the parts of yourself you've been avoiding? Understanding this is the key to turning that silence not into an ending, but into an opportunity for real, meaningful change. Have you ever faced a wall of silence from someone you care about? It's confusing, right? Frustrating, even. You might think it's a game, a tactic, or just plain weakness. But what if I told you that silence, especially a woman's silence, is one of the most powerful and misunderstood forms of communication? Today, we're going to decode what that silence really means. And trust me, it's not what you think. Let's start with a common misconception. Silence is not weakness. It's a sign of profound self-respect. Think about it. When someone disrespects you, your first impulse is often to fight back, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. But what if you knew your own worth so deeply that their words couldn't touch it? That's what this silence is about. It's a woman saying, "My self-worth is not up for debate. I don't need to convince you of my value because I already know it." She's not ignoring you. She's honoring herself. It's a quiet declaration that she refuses to participate in a dynamic that devalues her. Her silence is a boundary, a firm line drawn in the sand that says, "My peace is more important than your chaos." It's an act of self-preservation, not aggression. Now, let's talk about energy. We all have a finite amount of emotional energy. Arguing, explaining, pleading it all takes a toll. When a woman has tried over and over again to make herself heard and has been met with misunderstanding or dismissal, she reaches a point of conservation. Her silence becomes a strategic retreat. It's not about giving up. It's about reallocating her precious energy. She realizes that pouring more words into a void is pointless. So she stops. She pulls her energy back to protect herself, to heal, to focus on what she can control, her own inner world. This silence is a sign that she is no longer willing to drain her life force trying to make someone else understand. She is choosing to invest that energy back into herself. It's a powerful pivot from external validation to internal strength. This leads us to the third, and perhaps most crucial point. Silence is intelligence. It's a sign that she's observing, processing, and evaluating. Instead of reacting emotionally, she's taking a step back to see the bigger picture. She's watching your actions, not just listening to your words. She's noticing the patterns, the inconsistencies, the gap between what you say and what you do. This quiet period is a time of deep analysis. She is not just sitting there blankly. Her mind is working, connecting the dots. She is gathering data. She understands that a knee-jerk reaction solves nothing. True understanding comes from observation. Her silence means she has moved past the drama of the moment and is now focused on the reality of the situation. She's giving herself the space to make a decision based on facts, not on fleeting emotions. And here's where it gets serious. Silence is strength without aggression. Anyone can shout. Anyone can argue. Anyone can have an outburst, but to remain silent while a storm is raging inside you. That requires immense discipline. That is emotional mastery. She isn't silent because she's weak or scared. She's silent because she refuses to be ruled by her emotions. Picture this. Someone says something intentionally cruel. The anger surges. Every instinct screams, attack back. But instead, she takes a breath. She says nothing. It's not because she's afraid of the conflict. It's because she knows that words spoken in a moment of fury can cause irreparable damage. In that moment, her silence is both her armor and her weapon. It protects her from saying something she regrets, and it disarms the aggressor who is expecting a fight. It's a display of incredible inner strength. Now, we arrive at the most important truth of all, the one that most people miss. Silence is often the prelude to leaving. This is the final signal. Silence is rarely the beginning of a problem. It's almost always the end. Before the silence, there were words, there was effort, there was hope. The silence arrives when the hope has been completely exhausted. Relationship psychology is very clear on this. Emotional detachment begins long before physical separation. So when she goes silent, she might still be physically present in the room, but emotionally, she's already packing her bags. You can see her, but you can no longer feel her. Her energy, her desire to be understood, her willingness to fight for the connection, it's already gone. That silence isn't a pause. It's the final period at the end of a sentence she has grown tired of repeating over and over again. So, What do you do with this knowledge? You don't ignore the silence. You don't dismiss it as manipulation or drama. You finally understand that the silence is the message. It's a loud, clear signal that something is fundamentally broken. And if you have any hope of fixing it, more words and promises won't save you. Only actions will. You must respect the boundary her silence has created. Acknowledge the pain she is in without demanding an explanation she is no longer willing to give. It's time to change your behavior, not just your promises. Her silence isn't actually the end of communication. It's an invitation to a much deeper level of awareness. It's a challenge for you to listen differently. You have to learn to hear it, because her silence speaks of her value, her boundaries, her strength, and her loss. Sometimes, the most important truths we need to hear aren't found in words, but in the deafening space between them. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more insights into the complexities of human connection. If you're still here, still watching my videos, I just want to say something simple. Thank you. In this world of endless noise and constant distractions, the fact that you choose to spend your time here with me means more than you can possibly imagine. It means you're one of those rare people who wants to go deeper, who wants to question things, and who looks for answers inside yourself, not just on the surface. I am honestly so happy that there are people like you who share these interests, these questions, and this search for meaning. So, if you feel like this space resonates with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and maybe share this video with someone you know who might need it. Your support helps this content reach more people who are also quietly searching. Thank you for being here, really.